This is Business Inspires, the podcast of the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership. To run a successful business, you need resources, valuable connections, and community recognition. Business Inspires will provide you with the tools, resources, and examples to inspire you to create the business you're envisioning. This episode is brought to you by the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership. Our innovative and active chamber is successful because of our smart and engaged members who cultivate our strong business community. With more than 60 years as an integral part of the Grandview, Upper Arlington, and Marble Cliff communities, the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership is dedicated to a single purpose: the success of the business community. And Grandview Heights. Grandview Heights seamlessly combines timeless charm with a modern vision. Immerse yourself in the captivating blend of tradition and innovation that defines them.
I'm Brett Johnson, Tri-Village Chamber Partnership Board Member and the owner of Circle 270 Media Podcast Consultants. Thank you for following and subscribing to the podcast. With me is Katie Ellis, President and CEO of the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership, and, of course, co-host of the podcast. It's great to be here with you, Katie.
Great to be back as always, Brett. And today our guest is Abby Guild of Abby Guild Interior Design and Decorating. Abby holds a professional certification in interior design from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles, as well as a bachelor's degree in public relations and Spanish from Boston University. She's been the recipient of the American Society of Interior Design, the Pasadena chapter Excellence in Education Scholarship, and has held the position of President of the Pasadena Student Chapter of American Society of Interior Design. She was named New Design Professional by Hospitality Design and has been recognized for her work in the hospitality and residential industries, designing and decorating residences and boutique hotels, both stateside and abroad. Her work has been featured on Houzz and Vogue LA. She recently moved to Upper Arlington from Los Angeles and is excited to be putting down roots in Columbus and is a mother of 3. Abby, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. So it's a little bit complicated, but it's spelled Guild. That's totally right. Pronounced Guild. It's a family thing. I'm going to blame it on the family.
I should have asked you. Can I redo that?
That's okay. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, we can go with the flow and whatever.
I'll redo it. Sorry, Brett. Here we go.
No, do it. No problem at all.
I didn't even think to
No.
I should have prefaced with that. Guiled.
This is the second time I've done this. I called someone Abe because it was spelled Abe, and she's like, it's actually Abby. But she did it.
Oh, gosh, that's complicated. Yeah.
She told me way after the thing recorded. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Great to be back as always, Brett. And our guest today is Abby Guild of Abby Guild Interior Design and Decorating. Abby holds a professional certification in interior design from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles, as well as a bachelor's degree in public relations and Spanish from Boston University. She's been the recipient of the American Society of Interior Design, the Pasadena chapter of Excellence in Education Scholarship, and has held the position of President of the Pasadena Student Chapter of American Society of Interior Design. She was named the New Design Professional by Hospitality Design and has been recognized for her work in the hospitality and residential industries, designing and decorating residences and boutique hotels both stateside and abroad. Her work has been featured on Houzz and Vogue LA. She recently moved to Upper Arlington from Los Angeles and is excited to be putting down roots in Columbus and is a mother of 3. Abby, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be part of the chamber. It's exciting. Thanks for being so welcoming.
Of course. So Abby, you've launched your business multiple times in different seasons of your life. I've got 2 questions that came to me to ask you about this. What inspired you to start again here in Columbus? And was there a moment when you almost didn't take that leap to start again?
Yeah. So when we moved here, it was the middle of COVID. So I was very focused on the kids and figuring out what we're doing for school. And I was homeschooling them. I had just come off of a homeschooling year. In California, it was chaos for the whole planet. So yeah, I put my business on hold for a little bit because I had closed it in order to move. And I just didn't worry so much about it initially. And then I recently went through an uncoupling, and that really spurred me to think about, what do I want to create for my life and my kids' life for the second half of my life. I'm going to be 45 in a few weeks. So I'm thinking about, it just got me thinking about what do I want to create? What is it going to look like this time? Because I've had a few different iterations of my business. And so my priorities are different now. My values are a little bit more clear to me. And, it's always ever changing, and there's always growth. So yeah, I didn't dive in right away. And it's been an adventure. It's starting from scratch again, which is good. It's good to be scared sometimes.
You're right. You get to rewrite it. You get to control the narrative, which is really cool. Yeah. You moved here from LA without knowing anyone. What was that that's a huge transition. What's it like emotionally and professionally? Because that's a culture change, ultimately.
Yes. Yeah. We were living in just executive housing in an apartment when we first got here, and we had the sort of cliche, like, broom knocking on the floor from below. And then like notes slipped under our door, like, we're trying to work from home. And I'm like, I'm trying to homeschool from home. I don't know. We're all in this together. I don't know what to tell you. Right. So yeah, it was joyful chaos. But when we were working with a realtor at the time, who's wonderful, and he would contact me, and as he was looking for homes for us, and he'd say, where are you right now? And I'm like, well, now we're at Cosi, and now we're rock climbing, and now we're in Hocking Hills. And so I just really dove into exploring with the kids, really. But it was a lot. It took probably, these are privilege problems, because people were going through a really hard time at that time, but probably like a year, I would say, for me to recover from that move, because this move, we've done it before, but the kids were older this time, and they had a lot more input in what kind of school they wanted. And it really mattered to me that they feel comfortable as possible, because this decision was not up to them, and it was not something that they had to say in. So we ended up, just making sure that they felt safe and were transitioning. And I was really, of course, my husband was at the time very excited about the cost of living, and I was excited about summer thunderstorms and fireflies. So, and we got it. I remember when I first landed, I remember driving down, I think it was on 315, and I just remember thinking, there's grass that's green. It's green grass, like from actual rain. It's so exciting. So we love the seasons. Like, these things matter to me, coming from a place where there's drought. So little things. It was exciting.
Good.
Yeah.
And how has imposter syndrome shown up for you, if it has, over the years? And does it still now? And if so, how do you manage it?
Yeah, my old friend. So familiar. I've felt that a lot of times. And so I think that, not to genderize it, but this is my experience. So, and people are maybe going to have a hard time with this answer, but I find, I'll speak from my own experience, women tend to want their creative baby to be fully baked before they present it to the world, so that there's like no room for error. They want to make sure that I want to I will never overpromise and underdeliver. Like I just need to make sure I can produce for my clients. And I think there's a happy medium, because I think on the other end, men are really great at like having so much confidence. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, Brett. Confidence to, I don't want to like say fake it till they make it, but just walk into a room and say, yeah, I can do that. No problem. And then figure it out and make it happen. And so I that's been my experience. And so I think there is a happy medium. I think reminding myself that taking one step at a time, just keep going. There's going to be negative talk, self-doubt, keep going. And suddenly you'll be you'll be actually flowing and in your flow state and up and running. And so just keep moving forward. I think that we have one wild and precious life, and it helps me to put in perspective that my struggles and my negative self-talk are, in the big scheme of things, not affecting that's world turning. So to get out of my own head and like my problems are not as big as they may feel in the moment. And everyone is here with unique gifts to share with the world. So letting those, just really following your inner compass and letting those be your guide. Like no one else really can give to the world what you can. So there is a niche for you. We're all here. You're here for a reason. We're at this point in time. So share it. Yeah.
And I don't want to belabor your thought, but it's a good one, and it's your reality, what you feel, and it's. I think you're right on. Women don't go in the room and say, "I'm going to fake it till I make it," and men do. I wonder, from your experience working with other women, why do you think that happens? Is it because of lack of support, or is it just how men and women are built? What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
That's a good question. I mean, I have 2 boys and a girl. Okay. So I've always, my daughter's the youngest. I've always wondered, she's different. And is it because she's the third? Is it because she's a girl? Like, I don't always know what to attribute it to. I think I'm raising them all similarly. So I don't know that like their environment is the same. So, I think it might just be an inherent thing. I mean, I'm sure nature and nurture, they both play a part, I think, in everything. Yeah, that's a good question. I need to think more about that.
I don't know. I mean, there's really no answer to it other than what you feel, because I totally agree. Guys do that. They do. But I think there are a lot of good groups.
I want some more of that.
And what even the Chamber's trying to do with the Be Your Best Self conference is that it's not necessarily women focused, but it is that support group that you're not alone. And I think there needs to be more and more of that go ahead, make a mistake. You've got to make mistakes, be out there, but also find your people that allow you, quote unquote, to do it, that they're there to help you realize you're going to fumble. It's okay. I did too. And that's got to come from both men and women, and I hope there are more of them out there, I think. But, at the same time, you have to allow yourself to be that way too. So I just thought it was interesting you brought that up, because I hear that from a lot of women. I do. And it's one of those, I know, again, purposefully, that's why we put that Be Your Best Self conference together without being self-plugging here. But I think there's something, there's an importance to that to know that there's a group there for you. So, and not moving on, I didn't want to belabor it but you are starting over. What advice would you give to someone who feels like they're starting over professionally?
Well, it's an opportunity. Who are you this time? You're different. You have had more experience, life experience, whatever it may be. You're not the same person you were last time. So have your values changed? Like calibrate towards those. You typically have a stronger sense of self. no matter how much time has gone by, we are learning about ourselves all the time. When I was much younger, I wanted to design for anyone and everyone. I was going to turn nobody down. I am malleable. I can do anything. I just want clients. And now I have a much stronger sense of what I want to give and what matters to me and how I want it to feel is more than look, even is like, how does the space feel? And that sort of naturally I've found vets people and brings the right clients my way. So just be gentle with yourself and trust what lights you up. And because once you're in that zone of genius, like flow state, like I spoke of, then it's all going to feel in alignment. So following that. Yeah.
And you took about a decade off to raise your kids. What did it feel like stepping back in your career after that?
So I felt like the world had gone on without me. Like, how am I ever going to get back in, like jump on the train that's like zooming past me? How am I going to like get up to speed enough to like grab on? So that the imposter syndrome, the self-doubt, all of that. But I was also more confident as a human, maybe not as a business person and a professional, but as a human. So I leaned on that. And ever since having children, my priorities have come like into like blaring clarity. So the value of my time was the biggest one, I would say. My energy and my time is no longer, I don't have surplus. So being really efficient in time management, executive functioning, all these things that my kids are having to learn right now. It's like good to be going through all of that with them at different times, and modeling for them. I mean, I'm always expecting them to try new things. As kids, they're like, everything that they experience is new. So when after having taking 10 years off of, this is a while ago when I first got the business re-up and running, I really wanted them to see me doing something other than being their mom. So, and I really leaned on other women in the industry who understood that sharing their experience and even sharing like contracts, like actual tangible, this is my whole file in my computer of like documents and how I work and fee schedules and all of that, that other women in my life and professional designers knew the value of sharing that and weren't threatened by me, which I don't know how you could be, but anyway, but also just like knew the value of that will lift up the entire industry instead of you are my competition. So that meant a lot. And I've been able to pay that forward to other people who've come my way. And that was very impactful for me. And of course, wanting it to be perfect, but everything is a work in progress. And just giving yourself grace. I wanted to be, I loved the notion of having my own hours, but when it's your baby and your own, and all these entrepreneurs know this, but it's like very hard to turn it off. So as much as I was like, yeah, I'm flexible and I can pick my kids up from school and I can do this, do that. It also meant a lot of weekends and nights that I ideally would tell my clients, no, I'm not available, or don't text me, only email me. And then that's hard to keep my own boundaries with that. But it was exciting. It's scary and exciting.
Yeah. So what would you think your strengths are from motherhood that's given you as a business owner, as a person that can jump on that very fast moving train?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, like the value of my time and my energy, being efficient, what are my priorities? I'm always thinking, how is what I'm doing impacting my children? They're watching everything I do.
Yeah.
I was a kid once. I know how that is. And they absorb it all. So what message am I sending them? How does this come across in their eyes? I want them to be a part of it. I think for a long time, they thought their dad like literally made money because because I remember a conversation in the car when they were little, and they said, "What does dad do? Is he actually making the bills?"
It's adorable.
That is.
But I mean, but it was like a moment where I realized, like, I want them to really know what goes on. Like, my office is in my home, and they're here. They see it. They respect the space. They want to be involved. They want to see how they want to know about the workings. So they are a part of me, and it's not delineated, and I'm not separate going away to an office. So there's a lot of beauty in that. And I love that. I love that they get to see the inner workings.
Yeah.
So I know that you've been all over the country, and we'll touch on that in a moment. But what's helped you feel rooted in a new place? And then what advice would you give to someone that's trying to build that community that everybody needs from scratch?
Yeah. I think that nowhere is perfect, I've found. I mean, duh. But also everywhere you can find your people anywhere, and you will find people who are not your people everywhere. So not to force it, I think, because I've done this many times, just the nature of life. And I also just get like antsy after 3 years anywhere. And I'm like, where are we going next? So it suits me, and I'm an adventurer and kind of a nomad at heart. So not to force it. I think what I've done before is, especially when the kids were little and I would be pregnant, and I'd have these rose-colored glasses about like what community could feel like. And I would overextend myself to try to make it happen. And so not forcing it, because it's exhausting. And I think naturally, just by being who you are and going about your days in the ways that you need to be going about them anyway, because you have a full, busy life, the people that are drawn to you will come. So, and whatever energy you're putting out, you'll get back. So for me, it was when the kids were younger, we would be exploring or at the park or at the rock climbing gym or wherever we would be, and we'd meet people that way. So Columbus has so much to offer. And so it's been really fun. I think a lot of the country doesn't, it's okay, more for us, but like, don't give it enough credit. But I've also moved to New Jersey before, and that didn't get the greatest rap either. And it was absolutely beautiful, like stunning English countryside, beautiful. So I learned to like not prejudge anywhere. And I was just excited for a new experience, and to see it can be daunting to leave your whole community behind, and have the best of intentions to stay in touch with people. And then that's more difficult than it turns out to be more difficult than you thought. Or like your whole holistic network of practitioners, or in my case, how am I going to start over from LA, where I had like a plethora of options, and then coming here, it's actually been amazing, because not anyone and everyone is like a healer. So now it's like a much smaller community and they're like top notch, amazing. I don't know. I've just like found it's been really wonderful to not have expectations, preconceived notions, and just like to let it sort of happen naturally and organically.
Yeah, I think when you live wherever you live, you don't know how special it is until you move away and come back, or you know,
Right.
you come. I think it's true of everything. And I'm glad to hear that you're feeling that way about Columbus and Central Ohio. That's really good. And I've heard that even from people moving from Cincinnati to here and Cleveland to here, even within
Oh, yeah.
state, they're saying that. So I think we have a very
Sure.
very special community. Yeah. You've lived all over the country, as you mentioned, and traveled abroad to 6 of the 7 continents. You are used to creating space and making a house, apartment, or a room a home. How has that shaped the way you think about creating home for clients?
Hmm. I'm just fascinated by how people live and how people use their space. So I think for a lot of people, it's sometimes their only freedom of expression if they, depending on their career and their job. And it's a very intimate look into somebody's inner workings, is how they move about their home and how they create space for themselves. Like most of my memories from my earliest memories are attached to what space I was in when I had the memory. So like that's my visual brain, just how I've learned to associate things. So like I remember walking down Canal Street in Manhattan one time and just I couldn't get it out of my head. There's so many people out and so much vibrancy. And I remember just thinking like, I wish I could just follow each person home. And like in not a creepy way, but like how do they live? What is their home life like? Where do they go home to? How many flights of stairs is it? Like who do they become as soon as they set foot in their home and are no longer in public walking down the street? I think we say needs a lot. Like this person's not meeting my needs, she's not meeting my needs, but like a shelter is actually a need. Yeah. Like it's one of the like human necessities. So it's definitely a privilege to be able to like adorn it, or like the form part of my job of interior design, but the function too, like we just need shelter as humans. Or like another creepy Abby moment, I guess, would be like my best friend and my roommate and I would be like, I went to school in Boston, so we'd be walking around Beacon Hill at night on purpose because the lights would be on and the beautiful brownstones, and we could like see how these families that live in these gorgeous brownstones, like how we just very casually watch them like eating dinner as we're walking by, or like, well, how do they live? Like it's just because I've always been fascinated by other cultures, anthropology, and like how do other people live that I want a glimpse. I want to like just a glimpse into how other people live. So yeah, it's always been fun. I mean, I've lived in like on stilts in this kind of treehouse thing in Australia, or I've lived in like metropolitan cities like Madrid and Los Angeles. I mean, I've experienced living in many different places, and it's always contingent or like influenced by the environment around the home. And people are so adaptable that they can adapt to whatever that would be. Or like in the hills in Costa Rica, like living under a corrugated metal roof, like they had materially barely anything, but this family was the happiest. They were the happiest people I've ever seen because they had just the necessities and love around them. I don't know. That sounds a little bit, I don't know, but it's true.
No, to me, it sounds as though you're describing how you work with your clients, that you pull from them, how are you living? And you can bring all of these worldly designs in your head going, that would be perfect, rather than you saying, okay, I see you as a person this way, and here's the design I've always wanted to do, and you'd fit it perfectly, sort of thing. Right. It sounds like you're doing that, and that's a talent, a skill to listen. Most people don't. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't have that, and you genuinely are there listening to what they're doing, what their life is, and bringing all your artistic mind to it, going, here's what we could do with that. And build something very special for them. That's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you. I get it.
How does designing a boutique hotel differ from designing the personal residence?
Oh, they're both so fun. So I haven't done a boutique hotel in a while, but first of all, you're designing to presenting to a board as opposed to a person or a family. And that actually can have its perks because they are not living in the space every single day. So it's nice to sort of let your creativity really go overboard. Like I think of a boutique hotel as like the powder room of residential, where it's like the jewel box of the residence. So a boutique hotel, like the entire thing is that way. So you get to sort of really let your creative juices flow and kind of think over the top, which some people only feel brave enough to do that, like in their powder room. So like if you want black walls, like let's do it. Let's make the whole lobby black wall, it's like, whatever it may be. Yeah. And then of course there's different codes. So like the sconces, the projection of the sconces in the hallway in the boutique hotel, it can have to be 4 inches or less, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, or maybe the code has changed. Or like ADA and the Americans with Disabilities Act things play a part. So, but yeah, it's they're different beasts, but they're both really fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So what's one simple design change that can dramatically improve how a space feels? What's one?
Okay, I'm going to try to keep it to one. Okay, natural light.
Oh, wow.
Like light.
Wow.
Completely. And then here's my 1A. It's plants. Because the plants need the light, but humans need the plants too. Yeah. So those kind of go hand in hand. And then the other offshoot would be probably, I think a lot of people, I've lately found that some clients think they want my help, but really they need just an organizer first. So like clear your space out, purge. It's so healing. It's therapeutic. Like purge, feel all the feelings that come along with that, all the emotions. It can be super painful, but like once a space can breathe and the air can really flow through it and you can see it for what it is, then that's when you call me and I have my clean slate and we can make magic happen. But I remember there have been times, of course, as a mom of 3, where I've walked around my home saying, my home is a mess. I am not a mess. Like that's like been my mantra. So it's like my design is clutter free and just what are the necessities, so we don't feel chaotic in our minds.
Yeah.
And when we a couple of events ago, you had shared that you just got back from, I think it was London. Could you share about that? Because you just touched on it when we were chatting, and I would love to hear more about it and share it with our listeners.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you asked. This lights me up. Okay, so at times in my life, I've been, I've sort of grappled with, is interior design too aesthetic or shallow is harsh, but like, where's the depth? And I've realized beauty is absolutely a value of mine, and I don't apologize about that. But to take it a step further, I think I've always naturally designed in a biophilic way. So the conference I went to was a biophilic design conference. So it's a very roundabout way of getting there. But anyway, it's about wellness. Biophilia actually is Greek for love of life. So it's about vibrancy, flourishing, it's regenerative, the intentional shaping of spaces for the wellness of the inhabitants. So maybe you can gather from what I've said already, like the well-being of the people in the space, in the built environment, is of utmost priority to me. So biophilia is about the humans' innate drive to connect with nature. So, for example, do you find yourself, if you're in Columbus, driving from the north down towards like downtown, do you want to take Riverside or do you want to take 315? Just so happens to sometimes I'm driving home from the kid's dad's house and I will always take Riverside and skip Sawmill and 315 because for obvious reasons maybe, but also just like in the winter, the river can be frozen. I've seen coyotes running across the frozen river. It's just stunning. I get to see the leaves in the fall and it just relaxes my nervous system. Like there's no way around it. It's just inside of us. So it's about natural light. It's about plants. I mean, it was so great to be at this conference where I finally now have language for what I've always known to be a part of human nature and our existence. Now I have all the research for it. So now, like, research shows that if someone is in the hospital and has a window to the outside, their hospital stay is shorter than if they didn't have the window, like period. So we're people of the earth. We're creatures of the earth, like any living thing is, and we cannot be separated from it. So in LA, it was a lot easier for me to indoor-outdoor living and open up an entire wall. And that was a beautiful thing that I can't do here as much. But there are other ways we can do that with light and with plants and with, just thinking about the wellness and the airflow and or even like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I learned this at the conference. I mean, everything just clicked. It makes so much sense when you think about it. But like blue light in the middle of the day that comes from above, it peaks, produces cortisol, which is like about creativity and productivity. And then the red light that comes from the horizon, it produces melatonin, it soothes the nervous system. So like if we are not, the built environment is a necessity for us, especially here. It snowed yesterday? It's March. We're in Ohio. So, but we have to have these structures around us to protect us. But being outside and letting the light in, or being outside and go get outside. Like there are biophilic practitioners and teachers who start with just, let's go on a nature walk. And then we'll go back inside and how can we bring the shapes that we saw back inside? So exciting.
Yeah.
It's just fun to be around the change makers that are like actually making it happen, and like politicians who are actually changing policy, because it's not sustainable to keep just like mowing down an environment and plopping like a big box store down that like is completely suffocating the land. And so how can we be sustainable and regenerative about it? It makes me feel a little bit better about what I do. It's not just about like adornment and decor and it's like it really is about human wellness and sustainability.
Yeah. So where can people connect with you and learn more about what you're doing with your work?
So my website, abbyguild.com, ABBYGUILD, Guild, but it's actually Guild. And then my Instagram is at Abby Guild. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. And listeners, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to check out our podcast page on the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership website. Look for the podcast tab at the top of the homepage and tell us what you think about this or any of our other episodes. You can reach us at info@chamberpartnership.org.
Business Inspires is a production of the Tri-Village Chamber Partnership and Circle 270 Media Podcast Consultants.